Before the titles, before the companies, there was just a younger version of him.
Who I've been for a long time. A younger, more naive, less mature version of myself. Trying to figure out how to find myself.
Back then, success looked simple.
I thought success looked like cars, houses, money, women, very vanity-based metrics.
And sometimes the hardest part of growing up is realizing the person you were chasing was never you. So before you got into operations and scaling brands, and before there was a title, who were you? Who were you before who you are today?
A younger, more naive, less mature version of myself. I really think business and when you're, especially entrepreneurship, really forces you to grow in new ways. And so who was I before that? In a lot of ways, I was a little boy trying to figure out how to find myself in this world. And I feel like that's who I've been for a long time until recently, learning to shed some of those identities and step into new versions of myself. So it's part of me, my story, but it's not who I am.
Yeah, I can relate a lot. Similar aspect, but when you were 18 years old, what did you think success looked like?
I thought success looked like cars, houses,
right,
money, girls, women, very vanity-based metrics.
Yeah. Mine, I don't like saying it, but I wanted to beat everyone. I wanted to be the best. I still want to be the best.
Right. But now, is it the best of yourself versus the best compared to someone else?
I wanted to be better than everyone else.
That's a hard measuring stick, man. there's some badass people out there.
Yeah. No, also it's just not a good path. So it's interesting how things switch. You've managed tons of sales reps. You've switched from one company where you're doing that, you became the COO, then the CEO of where you're at now. What's been one of the heaviest decisions you've had to make as a leader?
I think the heaviest decision I've ever had to make was to fire a friend. I hired a friend, and he's a good human, and it just wasn't working within the parameters and within the structure that I'd set up, and I had to let him go. And that took a lot out of me at that time. I don't think I had the nervous system regulation. I had the emotional maturity to really understand that, I had to do it, but it wasn't, I had to learn to put myself first in my business. And that's, I've had to learn that's not selfish. That was, what are my goals and what aligns with my goals? And when things start to fall off, to be true to myself of what that was. And I'll remember probably forever when I called him in my office, sat him down, and I felt like I was generous with what I was offering him as a severance and departure. But it led to some fallout.
Yeah.
And I've had to live with that. And it's only until recently that some of that's been repaired after a couple of years. That was the hardest decision I've had to make.
Yeah. I've found from friends like you and other business owners, when we're the leader of the troops, the team, these scenarios land on our shoulders. And when you build something and you create this baby, we fall in love with all the aspects of it, and we care about our people, and firing is hard.
Oh man, there's a couple years ago where I had to do some layoffs, firings, and it was rough. And I was a little bit of a reluctant leader at that point. I was like, I'm the leader, I guess. And I wasn't truly owning it. So I just that meant when I was stepping into those type of conversations, it never felt like, oh, I got this. This is my, it was like, I have to do this. And I don't think it was always the cleanest, and I didn't do the best job with some of those scenarios. And I look back at as lessons learned, I'm trying to in my mind classify them instead of mistakes as lessons learned in my journey to becoming a better CEO. And that was definitely a lesson learned of A, don't hire friends, and B, create clear boundaries where it's very clear to everyone if someone's not stepping into those or completing their responsibilities. And I didn't do either of those during that time. So when you fire someone, it feels like you're breaking up with a friend instead of like, hey man, you're not doing your job. I have to let you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then you're like, hey, here's, our first conversation about this. Here's your written notice. Here's where we need to get. And all this, then it's not a surprise.
Yeah. And then it just becomes like, and I want to do it with heart always. I don't want to like be, you didn't do it. Bam. It's like, there's always a process. I remember in this particular situation, I had multiple conversations. I was like, hey man, here's what I've asked you to do. It's not done. And again, here's what I asked you to do. It's not done. And it got to a point where I was like, it's not happening. Yeah. And it wasn't super formal in that. It was more like friend to friend. And I realized that I have to kind of, in certain scenarios, I could still be friendly without having to be their friend or best friend. Like, and that's something I've taken into, like my current employees, like we have a good culture. We laugh. Like the other day we were sending each other memes about Love is Blind and we were all having a good time. That doesn't mean that like we're besties. And I kind of draw some boundaries where some employees I don't really interact with outside of work as much because it creates better boundaries for both parties.
It's hard to hold all that.
It really is.
Yeah. I have gone through all of this.
I bet.
For me, when the firing is hard and because I'm listening to your story and I can like mirror it in myself, it's the same feeling that happens when I do it. I'm having it on the moments prefacing it, but I wasn't dealing with it earlier. I was like half-ass dealing with it. And then it got bigger at the end.
Well, I've looked at that in my own pattern, and that wasn't a pattern of avoidance. Yep. I wanted to avoid the hard conversations because I thought it'd be easier. And over the last like year-ish, I've really worked on nervous system regulation. And one of my big patterns when I've noticed it's avoidance, I'm like, oh, that thing's happening. I want to avoid it. Now it's like, no, that thing's happening. I'm aware of it. Now let me engage with it instead of running from it. And that alone, that little, it seems subtle, but it's just a pattern. It allows me to shortcut and shrink the time from, out of alignment to back in alignment. I'm just trying to like reset more on a more regular basis.
It's like 1 or 2 degrees.
Yeah, 1 or 2 degrees, not 10, 15 degrees where then you're way off base. It's like 1 degree, let's reset.
Yeah. A lot of our listeners might not exactly know what you do. Okay. You want to tell them kind of what your business does?
So Be Fulfilled, we're an operations platform, like you said. I help creators launch product lines. So I believe that creators will continue to gain power in the social media and e-commerce space as the arbiters of attention. So they're the ones who really own the attention of each of us when it comes to social media buying. And social commerce, which is the term for that, is getting close to $1 trillion industry. And in our current setup, Meta, Google, TikTok, they are the gatekeepers for most brands of attention. So your brand that's not backed by influencer, you have to pay Google, Meta, TikTok to get in front of the audience. Creators have a direct audience. They don't have to pay anyone. They're still on those platforms, but those platforms exist because of that. So if I can help a creator launch a product line that is authentic to them and to their followers, that affinity, so that correlation between the audience and the creator is very, very good. And it allows creators to change their influence into ownership. It's kind of like this idea of real estate where I'm renting and I pay all this money, but I have no equity. I allow creators to build with our platform, with our operation know-how, their own house, their own equity-based ownership where they then get to build something that's theirs. Because a lot of influencers and creators, they have to go deal to deal, affiliate to affiliate, and they don't have long-lasting relationships. They always burn out over time, or they're not aligned with their audience, so the audience feels like, oh, they're just trying to make some money off me, and it doesn't feel authentic. So if I can help them create an authentic connection with their audience, and they could own that, and they can build that, there's power in that. And we're circumventing the gatekeepers of most brands, which really creates margin opportunity, creates huge growth opportunity. Like we've had clients go from 2 million in sales to 50 million in sales.
Wow.
And they're doing that based off their audience.
So what I hear is you're the bridge. Your business is the bridge to the systems.
Correct.
And the bridge only exists through authenticity, because the product to the systems, our systems won't work if you don't have authentic products.
I look at that, if we use the term keystone, when you have a bridge, there's always that middle block, right? There's sales, marketing, which is where the influencer, that's on their side of, like, let's say there's a big canyon and we're building a bridge over the canyon. There's sales and marketing on one side. Then there's like authenticity, and the authenticity has to go into product, building a product that makes sense. And not every creator has a product that's going to make sense for them, but some do. And then there's, after the product, there is infrastructure. There's systems. There's physical space for warehousing. There's physical staff for shipping and fulfillment, for customer service, for photography. That's what we offer, is this bridge to build this for yourself, to go from creator to business owner.
I love it.
Yeah.
Not to mention the world we live in right now, especially the past like 24 months, authenticity, authentic content is becoming the gold, and everything else is trash. Like if it's not you, we see it like this.
Yeah.
And everyone knows, because there's so much unauthentic content.
And this is where, like, not to go too far off topic, where I think the AI revolution of content generation misses the point. It's volume over authenticity. And I think that is critical, that creators understand that. We don't need more of you, like more volume. We need more heart. We need more authenticity. And that's what, I think we're all up to see how this is going to shake out with the overwhelming amount of content that's going to be created via AI, on who the winners and losers are going to be. And I really believe the winners are going to be those that stay authentic.
I agree.
They might use AI to augment some of their content, to get better, but it can't be a full replacement, because AI has no soul.
Yeah, I would agree. So when you're helping creators scale, what do they typically get wrong? Like, what are they normally getting wrong that you're helping them with? So
a lot of it comes down to systems and processes. I look at, there's always left brain, right brain. Like a creator might be really good at the storytelling, the connection with their audience. That doesn't mean they're also good at systems, processes, and, negotiating shipping rates, or having a team that is very structured in how they answer emails.
Yeah.
And there's left brain, right brain, there's multiple hats. And when I look at that, I say creators need to understand who they are and what they're good at, and then partner with people who are good at things that they're not. And that's where Be Fulfilled comes in. We work with creators of all types, all sizes. And the key is, are we working in alignment and in collaboration, or are we, bumping into each other because you want to do everything? And the truth is, creators can't do everything. They have to understand what they're good at. And if they could do more of that, if they have more time in their day to focus on more conversations, more storytelling, their brand is going to grow so much faster.
I mean, I would take what you just said and paint that over all businesses.
Agreed.
Because like if the way I always view it is, what do I do for the business that's the highest value? Whereas my $1,000 plus an hour of work. So if I paid someone else to do this is how much I'd pay them. I should do that.
Yeah.
And
not the $15 an hour stuff.
No.
Not answering emails at midnight.
Or spending a year and a half to come up with all these systems that someone already has and has all the connections.
Right. I mean, building an enterprise level fulfillment facility, there are a lot of things that go into that. Software that costs you $5,000 to $10,000 a month, that if I spread that over 40 customers, I can use the highest leverage software across multiple people. Otherwise, one particular client would be paying that much by themselves, and that would more than pay for our services, 5x pay for our services.
So it's like corporate Lamborghini level for the one person business.
Correct.
When they team up with you.
That's exactly right. We want to give them the tools. Like, we've had customers sell 25,000 units in an hour. If you're doing that by yourself, that would take you, let's say you could ship 500 shipments a day. That would take you 2 months.
Yeah.
We could do that in 3 days.
Yeah.
And so it allows you to scale without having to worry about
All your bottlenecks.
what's next. There's early days we brought on a client and they would literally not promote because they were afraid of what the work it would create on the back end. So if I could remove that, like, oh, don't worry about what the fulfillment looks like. Worry about how can you sell as much as this as possible. And their sales went crazy because they focused on that part without the worry of like, oh shit, now I got to spend 6 hours in my garage shipping packages. Like, nope, I'm going to move on to the next product, the next idea.
And that's energy draining task.
Energy draining. And, as I've sat with I've had the company 8 years now, we created our purpose, and it's a very simple statement: create space. I want to create space for my clients emotionally, physically, and financially so that they can do their best work. And that's a nuanced statement, and not all of my clients fully understand that over time, especially when I'm starting, if they don't understand. As they grow with this, like, oh my gosh, I don't have to do that. Great. And some of my favorite clients are the ones that have tried it in the past and like, this is stressful. And they come to us like, are you kidding me? Now I get to focus on the things that I'm the best in the world at and just do that. And you guys do the rest. This is like a game changer.
So I'm going to flip it on you. What do operators like you get wrong about visionaries and creators?
I think oftentimes operators can undervalue what the creative brings to the table.
Oh my gosh, to hear you say that, I believe it's the same on the other side.
Yeah. It's totally the same because you don't know what you don't know. You don't see what you don't live, right?
And, it's no, but what I really love is really important, and I'm good at it. And this is look.
And they're both true, right? They're both true statements.
Without the ideas, there's nothing to operate. Without the operation, the idea is worthless.
Execution is everything, right? Execution eats strategy for breakfast, right? And so if you can't execute on the ideas, you have nothing but an idea on a piece of paper, which is usually meaningless. If you don't have a great product to execute on, what are you executing on? Like mediocre? And so it takes both. It really, I've done this for long enough, worked with enough creators that it takes both living into their geniuses to make it really work.
So as a longtime operator and a family man, how do you balance ambition and presence, and what does your family see that your team doesn't?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to speak from where I'm at now because I've not been the greatest at that throughout my whole career.
Thanks for being humble.
I've screwed up plenty of times in that front with the family. Right now, for me, I feel like there's an important need to transition from work to home, and honoring that need for the masculine need for a transition. Means I'm leaving the office and I'm in charge and I'm telling people what to do and I'm like, this needs to happen like this, this happen like that, and then I get home. And I'm in that mode, and I'm in the go mode. I'm in the CEO mode, and
someone doesn't want to listen.
You don't want to listen to me? I'm going to fire you, child. I'm going to lay you off. It really becomes more about all right, how do I reset? How do I get back into an alignment with who I am as a father and as a husband? And for me, lately, it's been walking my dogs. Simple as that. I take a minute. Hey guys, I'm home, put my backpack up, put my stuff up, and I get the dogs out and they know. We're running home, they're all jumping around, shaking, like, let's go. And we go on a 3 to 5 mile walk around my neighborhood, and I come back and I've let that energy dissipate and really created alignment in myself. Like, okay, now I'm in dad, husband mode. Let's go help make dinner. Let's kind of be present. And that's really made a huge difference in my connection with my children. And with my wife. And another thing that I've done is I have one child at this point out of 3 who, when we see each other, we give each other like a 10-second long hug.
Oh.
And it just we hold, there's no pulling away until it feels natural. And it both of our nervous systems kind of regulate. Okay, we're here. And those 2 little things those little habits that I've been doing have been a huge difference in my life. I feel way more present at home. And then when I'm at work, I know what mode I'm in. And when I'm at home, I know what mode I'm in.
I don't have dogs to walk, but when I have a similar pattern in it. It's just, I go home, I go in the backyard, I I feed the chickens if my kids aren't home, or like I just kind of like am out in grass and nature, sun, been in the building all day. And then the one thing that I've added recently is, and I'm not doing it every day, it's just something I'm working on doing every day, is I imagine the man and how he is me with my children.
I like that.
And I like put that suit on and like get in that frequency. I don't always do it. I sometimes half-ass do it, but it helps a lot. It's like my own little internal version of the dog walk.
Yeah. And I think it's less like what you do. It's more the pattern and the recognition of what you're doing. Like you're doing something that works for you.
Like just making the choice to be conscious about the mindset change.
Yeah.
And then like space to have it and not like force it in.
Yeah. Don't force it. Just have that emotional and physical space, whatever it is. I love that, man. Like I think everyone has a different place they live, a different, setup. And I think it's just finding something to transition. It is a critical part of the male experience.
Stacking on this, when it's not going well at home, then I carry work home and I carry unwell home back to work. And it's like this vicious cycle. And then it's like, let's just burn it all day.
Trust me, I've been there many times with matches and gasoline. All right, let's go. And I don't know that I think that's an area that I have room to improve on is when it's not great at home, not bringing that back to work.
Yeah.
That's an area that I think I have some definite room to figure out. Like, what does that look like? Well, how can I switch that up? Yeah. Home life is like, it's the foundation of how we feel about so much. And I've really had a lot of emphasis on home life lately, on making sure that's good and that everyone at home feels my heart and soul. And so that that's been a little new for me to give it that much emphasis. And I've really enjoyed the results of that.
Yeah. Yeah. We as men, and if you don't resonate with this, that's okay. But this is what I believe. We as men, we're the container of the home. And if the container is shit, then that is what it'll be. Like we get the opportunity to hold the line of alignment. So everyone can lean and connect to our grounding rod.
Yeah. Yeah. That I've been obsessed with that concept of containment, of the container, the masculine container. I've been learning a lot about it. And like, someone has explained it to me as like, it's like the emotional puke bucket. We get to hold out. Everyone else gets to puke in it and we get to hold it. And that's safe. They're like, we can throw all our stuff into it because we know you can hold it. We know we're grounded. And then they feel safe and grounded in that. And that's much more energetic and emotional than is like physical. There's no physical restraint. There's none of that. It's just like, how am I showing up as grounded? What do they feel for me to feel that safety so that they can be their best versions while I can hold that? And that's a burden. It can be looked as a burden for men. And if you hold it right, it can be also like a privilege. And so like, I think shifting that from burden to privilege is the key there, that you're doing it with love and like, I get to do this. This is my responsibility. It's not heavy. I'm like holding this. And at the same time, we oftentimes as men need our own containers to be able to express that. And that's outside of usually the spouse or the kids. You don't want to you don't want to join their throw up in the bucket. You got to find your own bucket to get out what you need to get out.
I wonder if you resonate with this. Something I've noticed recently, and I totally agree on, we need a place. I have stopped talking about my problems as much. Not that I'm not allowed to, but it's almost like I want to get a little more information before I dump this on a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I found my problems linger much less.
Then they linger less if you focus on understanding them first before
understanding
puking.
it, and like, because I think lots of times we will go like when it's heavy, like something's going on with wife or kids or co-parent, it's a lot to carry. And so it doesn't mean we can't talk about it, but I think when we hold a boundary around the volume we talk about it or how many people we talk about it, because it kind of feels good. You start like getting these dopamine hits and you're like, oh yeah, you see me, you feel me, like, oh, isn't this hard? And like it kind of makes it linger. So, but I still believe we need a place to talk. But what I've found is with my friends that I really resonate with, we kind of take turns.
Yeah.
And like someone's really in it, and while they're in it, I'm gaining so much around they're in it. I'm like, dude, I have pieces of that.
Yeah.
And we're like working it out. I think this is part of that container thing.
I do think so too. And like for me, I've recently like joined some men's groups and found, and I'm learning how to better hold that and know when to express it and when to be held in what I need support with.
I would say fault on expressing it more.
I think I agree. I think there's, a lot of times it feels like the immature masculine to just throw up all over everyone all the time, your shit. Instead, it's like understanding what's yours and what you might need support in, and to hold that. And it's a fine balance. And I think there's a spectrum of masculinity, and everyone needs to find where they lie in it, and then find friends or other people that can help you hold it. Like I've had to learn how to say less to my wife, and that may sound funny, but it's like to bring to her the stuff that I want her to hold, not the stuff that I just need to get off my chest. And like there's a balance in that, and it's not. And I mean, I have a more transparent relationship with my wife than I've ever had. So it's not about not telling her things; it's about knowing what to tell her, what she needs to hold, and what she doesn't need to hold. Because there's a lot out there that men carry that the feminine's not going to understand.
We can't go home and dump it on
No,
them.
we can't. And that's been new for me. That's something I had to learn, and it's strengthened my relationship by understanding that and giving her more time. It's more of our time is about connection instead of about complaints. And that's been huge.
Yeah, I bet that mirrors what really well for you too.
Yeah.
From her back.
It does.
What? Oh, I'm going to find a different question. So we're going to cut this part out, because then we're going to say this one at the end, because I love where we're at right now, and I kind of want to stay where we're at. So on your journey to where you're at now, I'm sure there's been a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
But when was the time where you just were at your lowest low and just like alone and like, where do I go next?
A couple years ago, wasn't that far ago, wasn't that long ago. I had a big client that I was servicing very highly, like a lot of work for. And out of the blue, they called me and said, hey, they'd grown dramatically and we'd help them grow. And like, hey, we're moving facilities. And it was at the exact wrong time, financially, emotionally. I remember in my office, like dropping down the ground, like, I don't know how I'm going to survive this. And it broke me in a couple ways. And I didn't have some of the tools I have now. So I think emotionally I spiraled, had some really hard things that I had to like work through. And that was about 2 years ago today. And when I look at that back now, I'm in a better place than I would have been had they stayed. And I think that the key with that is like not believing your own darkest thoughts sometimes, and being able to have conversations and then start to like really plan what's next. And it took me a couple months. Like I had some pretty dark moments during that time period of like, well, I guess this is it. It's a good run. And last year was my most profitable year I've ever had. And this year is on an uptick of looking like another 50% growth year. And I'm in a better place I've ever been than I don't think I would have been had that customer stayed. So there's always a hidden gift in there if you can have the emotional capacity to see it.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get there because I didn't have the emotional tools that I have now.
Yeah.
But eventually I got there and I saw it, and it forced me to step up. That kind of reluctant leader I told you I was, it forced me to become the leader, not the reluctant leader. And it's paid huge dividends in my life, like all around. In my family, I'm now not a reluctant leader. I'm the leader of the family in a lot of different areas of my life.
Yeah. I hear a few different things, and they all just slip my mind. 'cause I was listening to you. But they're really good, and I'm going to find them. One of them was, damn it, I'm searching for two at the same time. That's okay.
Let it flow.
Shit, what were you just saying? It was, what were we just talking about?
The reluctant leader to that, to having a lesson learned versus like the end of everything. It really gave me, it created new space and new opportunities.
I got you. So I heard you talk about, you know, this thing happened and it was the lowest of lows. You lost this huge client and it broke you. And as I'm listening to the words, I'm like listening and imagining, and it's so beautiful how we get to be broken so we can be built the way we were designed. And I just, for me, I can resonate with it so much. Like business trials, family trials, everything that's hard and bad.
Yeah.
Bad's an interesting word.
It sure is.
The universe loves you and me and you so much that it'll never, ever give me something that I can't handle. And it'll never give me more abundance than I can handle because it loves me that much.
Yeah.
And so for me, because I've had a similar past couple of years, redefining how I see the bad has been so freaking empowering. It's almost like nothing is bad, everything's hilarious, and thank you.
And that's like a mature perspective. And I don't think you can get there without going through some quote unquote bad scenarios and then coming out of them and be like, oh, I got this. Whatever it is, I got this. Yeah. And like, it also gives you opportunities to look at things anew. Like, oh, how can I do this differently on phase 6.0 of my journey to do things more in alignment with how I want to do it? I look at that scenario and it just kind of was happening. I wasn't sometimes consciously choosing what was happening. It was like, oh, volume's going up, cool. And like now I'm consciously choosing every single step along the way, every single growth opportunity. And like, I'm able to kind of mold it into more of what I want it to be instead of it happening to me. And that's been a big lesson for me in that whole journey.
If you had someone with a broken business or a creator and they're doing 5 million, we'll say 2 to 5 million a year, what are the first three things you would audit and dig into when you started working with them?
First, you'd want to look at kind of operations. Like usually when things scale, operations start to break down. And a lot of times it's the wrong people in the wrong seats. It's people who are really good at 0 to, let's say, 1 million. And maybe they don't have the experience, the mindset, whatever it may be. And then usually those kind of individuals start to be hoarders of information, and then it really starts to create some bottlenecks where things aren't happening because there's fear going on in that, and whoever that bottleneck is. That's usually step number one. And then step number two, you start looking at supply chain, looking at why are things broken? And supply chain is everything from manufacturing through fulfillment. Like, how are we getting products in and out the door in the shortest amount of time possible at the best price? And usually with those two things, you can fix a lot of things. After that, I think a lot of it starts coming down to leadership within an organization. And what's the mindset? Are we operating from scarcity of like, oh, we don't know what to do, let's go? Or is it from abundance, like we're growing this because it's meaningful? This is where I really, really have leaned in on working with creators that have a purpose-driven brand, that they want to make a difference, because that, like we talked about before the podcast started, this idea of shouldn't always be about money. And if you're operating from a place of purpose, you're operating with a bigger picture in mind, and decisions are made differently. And usually they're sustainable decisions.
And the money flows to that.
It doesn't always flow immediately, but long-term it always does. And you sometimes have to make short-term decisions to get back in alignment for long-term goals. And that's how I look at those type of situations. And I've had a couple of those where people come to us like, we don't know what we're doing. We're not making any money. This. And like, all right, let's pause for a second. Let's start looking at who's doing what, relationships, supply chain. And that's what we can fix. I can't always fix mindset and purpose versus non-purpose, scarcity versus abundance. I can have the conversations, but that's a self-led decision.
How much of your work with your clients where you're helping them with mindset and things, how much has that upticked since that 2 years ago when you lost your big client?
A lot. Like it's taught me a lot that like, this particular client, nothing I could say to them would they ever listen. Like, hey, we need to do this differently. Nope. And I was like, okay, I guess we'll do it your way. And then there was frustration when it was done their way. And so now I've just gained. At that time, I was afraid to push that boundary too hard because they were a big customer. I'm not afraid of that anymore. I'm like, no, this is how it needs to be, because I understand that if I don't state that, if I'm not super clear on that, it's at my own detriment. And so like I've just gotten much clearer and much more willing to have the hard conversation with customers upfront and often, similar to the employee conversation. That has shifted me. That shifted my business completely. Like I'm not willing to sit in the gray area for a long period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other part of it is it's not only the outside aspects that it's connected to, like another person or a deal, it's the ride personally of letting it linger.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm unwilling to do that.
I'm unwilling to do that. We actually have a policy here. We are not allowed to kick things under the rug, and it's a core value.
Yeah.
And we talk about it so that when I pull the rug up, I'm like, "What? You didn't know? It's one of my value. It's one of our values."
Yeah.
So like, I'm sorry you don't like this, but we are going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's critical of like creating that culture internally that like conversations happen early and often.
Yeah.
And that was a shift that I had to, as a leader, I had to start with and then encourage my team to do the same thing. And it's created clarity. And honestly, I think our clients trust us more than they ever have.
When we don't put out this weakened state or this appeasing state, the authenticity rings true and the trust rings. And also we position ourselves in a marketing aspect and like words like, if you're valuable, then like I got rules and I'm busy. Yeah. But like when we don't have rules and we're not busy, it's like, who else can do this?
It feels to me like that was my journey from like boyhood to man was like not having boundaries. Oh, it's cool. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, we're all having fun, to like, great, I can do that for you. Here's what I charge. Here's how we work. I'd love to work with you, but you now have my parameters. If you want to work with me, great.
Like I like paying those kind of people.
Yeah.
It feels safe.
And honestly, it's like, I know I've not signed a few customers who didn't resonate with that. And in the long term, I'm like, great, they wouldn't have been great customers. They would have pushed every boundary. Yeah. They would have, complained at every, and I look at the customers who I've churned through, who I stopped working with. I could see similar patterns where that's where they were at. They didn't want to follow rules, or they didn't want to have someone telling them how it should be done. They wanted to be in charge of everything. I'm like, great, then go do it yourself. I'll support you and cheer you on, but like, I'm not going to be involved.
Yeah. I'm going to change topic.
Okay.
And you don't have to share, obviously you don't have to share a story if you don't want to, but I want to hear, what is the wildest, craziest shit John's ever gotten into?
Like in life or in business?
In life or business, whatever your favorite fun story would be.
I think my
that you're allowed to share.
Yeah. In 2015, I had some buddies who we all discovered that we all had a mutual fascination with North Korea, and it was we just started really being obsessed with all the stories coming out of North Korea. And one day we said, hey, we should start a podcast. And so we started a podcast. It became the #1 podcast on iTunes about North Korea, which is a very niche topic. So I'm not bragging like this is like big numbers, but we were #1 in North Korea, the North Korea topic for a while. And we would read books about North Korea, interview authors. And I want to say that the craziest story of all these that came out, we had a family in Salt Lake City here reach out to us and say, hey, we're going to North Korea to run the Pyongyang Marathon. This is like 2016. We're like, are you guys serious? This was a guy with 5 kids. And so we said, hey, will you guys all come to the studio? And we want to record you guys before and then when you get back. So we had them all come out and we interviewed them. And they're like a fun Utah family. Like, we're going to run. And the dad was a little hard edged about like, just North Korea can't tell us we can't run there. We're going to go run there. I'm like, okay, cool. And like, meanwhile, we've read all the books about all the different things that happen. It was just kind of like next level. We're like, I don't think you guys know what you're getting into. And so they come back and only the dad shows up. The kid's like, we're not going back. Like they did not have a great time. Dad comes back, is interviewed with us. And there's this museum in North Korea called the Museum of Atrocities. And it's like the most propaganda-filled museum where it's all these like Westerners with fangs like killing North Koreans and from like the Korean War. And it's like, we hate Western, they've killed, and like, I mean, they're not completely untrue, but there's a lot of nuance and propaganda mixed throughout. So the guy gets so upset that he steals a glass. And you don't know about North Korea is like, they are very particular about these kind of things. He puts it in his bag. And as they're leaving, they say, stop, we're missing a glass. We're going to search everyone's bags before you guys leave. So the guy starts sweating, right? And something happens where like the bus needs to go, like, okay, everyone go. So he ends up not getting caught. And we're like, dude, you are a dumbass. A month later, a guy by the name of Otto Wambier, who is a Wisconsin student, travels in North Korea, gets drunk in a hotel, steals a poster. They send him to the gulag, and he ends up dying in the North Korean jail, and they ship his body back. This is like 2017. Whoa. This guy was this close to being put in North Korean prison because he was pissed at the North Koreans. And I was like, shortly after that, when this guy Otto Wambier died, we stopped the podcast. Yeah. It felt heavy. We're like, I don't know that we want to be on, because we made a lot of jokes. We would call Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il names. We would watch their movies. We have on YouTube, there's a voiced over dubbed by the super awesome North Korea team of this this knockoff Godzilla movie called Pulgasari, where it's the only English version out there. And so like, it just stopped being funny when we saw how close and how real it became. So we're like, oh, we're going to back off. And so that was the end of that podcast. But we got really deep into that world, started knowing a lot of the big players who played in that, interviewed professors, authors, people all over the world. It was a fun time, and it came to its end.
I mean, this explains how you're in your current business.
Totally explains
Not
it.
the North Korea part, but all the connections and all the resources and the...
Yeah. And I've worked in Asia for like 20 years and have, white network out there. And it's I love people of all types. And it's been fun. It's fun to explore other cultures. It's something definitely that I enjoy doing.
I agree. I haven't explored probably as much as you, but I've found a lot of gratitude for all the things I have when I do travel.
Yeah.
Especially to like places like South America, or just like, wow, things are really easy at home.
Yeah. There's a gratitude that comes when you travel. I think that's one of the big benefits of travel. It's like you see the world through different lens. You're like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I
have it pretty damn good. Top
and
percentages.
I think of this one town, Sunsol. It's in El Salvador. I don't remember the city name. But everyone was kind of smiling too. And like they got cinder block walls and like a metal roof and like sticks, and like everyone's just kind of happy.
Yeah.
So, but they're washing their clothes in the river, and there's trash all over the side of the river. I'm like, this is where you're washing your clothes? In the trash?
It puts things in perspective. Like, happiness is not dependent on the number in your bank account. Yeah. It's like an internal, like, if you can't compare it to someone else, you're going to be happy just as is.
Mm-hmm. So that is the downside of living in the Western world.
There are many, and that is one of them. Yes, correct.
Well, 20 years from now, when people talk about you, what do you hope they say?
That I showed up with heart, and that I always spoke from the heart and gave people the benefit of the doubt. I really try to live from a place of heart-centeredness in my life, of customers, employees, kids, friends. Like, I want to show up like in full, like, loving mode first, and then whatever comes after that comes after that. Like, I don't want to be known for having the biggest house, the biggest car collection. Like, to me, that's not important. Mm-hmm. I would like to, just be known as a good human who cared about a lot of people and did my best.
Yeah. I saw this quote and you made me think of it. I'm going to probably butcher it. I look for every opportunity to teach. And when I do teach, or when I teach, I try to always do it without words. Something like that. And that's kind of what I heard when you the parts of that. It's like who we are is what they remember, not what we said, what I did. That's how I made you feel.
Yeah. It's like say less, be more. Like that's, I think a good way to say it is like, I've had to learn that of like, stop talking about what I want to do and start doing the things I want to do. And people remember that way more than your monologue or your dialogue around who you are. It's like, well, show me, don't tell me.
Yeah. I love that, man. Yeah. If anyone listening today, if you guys feel stuck in operations, stuck in middle management, stuck in your machine, what would you tell them? Like how can you help creators who are stuck? Like what is the one-liner that you can kind of give them something to bite on? And then I'd love after that you to tell them where they can reach you.
Yeah, I think it's getting clear what you want. Like in today's world, there's a lot of comparison, confusion, like getting really clear of what you want your purpose to be and how you want to live, like intentional. And once you do that, then I think there becomes conversations to be had around like who can help you. And I'm the type of person where like I can help a lot of people, not everyone, right? And some people I'm like, great. Here, let me connect with this person. They can help you with that. And I also saw that I take probably 10 inbound meetings a week with new potential clients. And I saw over the course of the last few years that about 25 to 35% were actually eligible for me to like work with them. They had the right size, the right idea, and you could tell that they were ready for it. And I love that, but I also saw that other 65% I wasn't helping. And I saw opportunities to help them, but not my current kind of like box that I've built as Be Fulfilled. So I launched a coaching program to help people who just want to, like, they want to learn. They don't know where to start. They want to learn. And it's one of my greatest things I love doing is sharing all the things I've learned over the last 20 years. Like, here's how you start. Here's what you got to look at. Let's start first on purpose. Let's look at some values. Before we talk about whatever product idea you have, we need to understand who you are and how that's going to integrate into what you're making. Because that is the key to success, is to create an aligned, authentic product that you can then share. Then you never get tired of sharing this. It's not like you're pitching, you're talking about something that you birthed. And like, we don't get tired of talking about our children. We want to talk about them all day, but like sometimes you're making something that's like feels outside of you. And so really creating that alignment is the key part. And that starts with understanding who you are and what you want out of life. And that's a little vague of an answer, but there is some vagary there in the beginning.
It's spot on though. Purpose is everything, because without the purpose defined, you don't even know where you're going. And without the purpose defined, how are you going to redefine your purpose in 3 years? Because you're going to have to. Yeah. Because you're going to kind of like forget a little bit and float over here and have to come back and refine your purpose, because this is just the ride of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And I think like purpose is this big word that sometimes we all throw out there. It gets a little scary, right? I look at that as like your star that you're shooting for. Like you may never reach the conclusion of your journey, but if you get if you get one step closer, then you've made a difference. Yeah. And mission then becomes something where I'm going to do this in 3 years. And oftentimes people confuse mission and purpose. Yes. People say, I want to be working for myself in 3 years. I'm like, cool, that's a mission. Yes. Why do you want to do that is the purpose. Because that matters more than like what we're gonna be in 3 years.
This is how you're going to be able to do the 3 years.
Yeah. And then the values become the way at which you attack that. The things, the integrity, the non-negotiables that will allow you to reach the mission, which allow you to seek that purpose. Because purpose is or ethereal. It's not something you can like put a pin in and say, I've accomplished my purpose. I don't know anyone who's ever, I've accomplished my purpose. We're all striving to do better, to get closer to that. And that is like, to me, it goes down the human psyche of like, we are purpose-driven beings. We need purpose in life to get up in the morning, to feel energy and to feel like we matter. And oftentimes people in those positions, they've lost sight of purpose, either the organization they're with or they were never taught that. And so to me, that's a fun, I get to do that more in coaching than I do in the client side. Coaching, we really get to explore these avenues, and it has, that purpose has a purpose, right? Giving you a purpose has a purpose for me of like, I want to help you build that freedom that you're seeking. And that's one of my purposes, like to help more people. My goal is to help, my mission is to help 100 entrepreneurs reach 1 million in sales in e-commerce. That's something I can accomplish. My purpose is to create space.
Yeah.
I can't, that's harder to define, harder to measure, but like I seek that. I want to get after that. And how do I do that? By helping 100 entrepreneurs reach 1 million in sales in online.
I want to help 100 med spas reach over $1 to $2 million too.
I love it. See, that. Now we know. It's like every day we can wake up and know, are we getting closer? Because that mission is measuring it. And the purpose.
But this is a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the purpose is the whole thing.
It's the big picture.
I almost added a word. I wouldn't replace it. Impact. Like I want to create impact on reality and my brothers and sisters, and like this is the purpose of this impact. And it's not like money. It's like when we get the opportunity to coach, and you have someone get this aha moment, the blind spot goes away. And then they do the thing the next week and they're like, oh my gosh, it worked and you were right. And I'm so grateful. I can see it differently now. And it's not about being right. Yeah. It's you're just so happy that like they had this breakthrough. And it's almost like this, we're handing out breadcrumbs of sovereignness.
Yeah.
At least the amount that I know so far, or I think I know. I don't know everything.
Yeah, and staying humble in that, like, I don't know all the answers, but like, I know some things, and in this field, I'm an expert, so I can help you get there, but your journey is going to be your journey, and you're going to have to define that. And so many people look to externalize that, and they want this guru or whatever else, and being careful, say, no, I'm going to help you with what I've learned, that I've learned from other teachers and mentors, and you will take what you want from it and become the best version of yourself. But this doesn't mean I'm right. This means this is what's worked for me and for people like you. And so to answer how people get a hold of me, BeFulfilled.net, at BeFulfilled on Instagram, at Mr. John David Brown on Instagram. Those are easiest ways to get a hold of me if you're interested. Like I want to be on a journey with my coaching clients. Like we go on a journey of exploration to figure out what's the next best step.
That sounds fun. Thanks for coming on today, John.
Hey, thank you, man.
Appreciate it. Well, BeFulfilled.net and BeFulfilled at BeFulfilled on Instagram. And John has a ton of great tools and systems, and I've been to his warehouse. If you want to make a product and you want to get it to market and you want to plug into a machine, call John. He's the man. But until next time, that was the Hatch Point.